Still no Philadelphia Phillies game yesterday, with it being the All-Star break. The All-Star game actually took place last night on Tuesday, but we still have a lot to talk about. Welcome into Phillies Daily, everybody. I'm your host, Mike Henley. Make sure you guys subscribe for more Phillies content right here on Phillies Daily. All-Star game happened yesterday, and Kyle Schwarber, the Schwarbarian, he lit up the sky with fireworks in front of the baseball world in that game. Well, necessarily not during the game. The actual game, he was 0 for 2 with a walk when he came in later in the ball game as a replacement at the DH spot. But then the game ended up being a 6-6 tie, and with that, they are now doing a swing off, almost like a mini home run derby, rather than extra innings, rather than ending the game in just a tie for the All-Star game. Each league, each team takes 3 players that they think can hit home runs there in the swing-off. Each of those 6 players total, 3 from each league, American League and National League, get 3 total swings each to try to hit a home run. If you don't hit a home run, then it just is an out, so you get 3 total swings each player. It goes, American League, the National League, American League, the National League, American League, then National League. Whichever team hits the most home runs by the end of that swing off ends up winning the All-Star game. And yesterday, Kyle Schwarber hit second for the National League there. He was one of the 3 choices, obviously having a great power season. He has 30 home runs in 2025, and Kyle Schwarber, the National League, was down 3 home runs to 1 home run going into Kyle Schwarber's turn for the National League, and he was tremendous. He went a perfect 3 for 3 with 3 home runs in his 3 swings there. Just absolutely launched them. It was electric. The crowd loved it. His teammates loved it on the National League, and he ended up winning that All-Star game and that swing off for the National League. He hit 3 home runs to give them a 4-3 lead going into the American League's last chance with their 3rd player. He, unfortunately for the American League, could not hit a home run to tie the National League and Kyle Schwarber's mark or take the lead. And then in turn, Pete Alonso was supposed to bat last for the National League. He didn't even have to, because Kyle Schwarber hit those 3 Schwar bombs and won it 4-3 in the swing off for the National League in the 95th All-Star game. Not only did Schwarber do that for the National League and win that, but he was named the game's MVP despite not even recording a hit in the actual game. As I said, he went 0 for 2 with a walk, but he came up clutch heroics to help the National League win in that swing off with those 3 home runs. He is the first Philadelphia Phillies player to win the All-Star Game MVP since 1964, so a very long time for the Phillies to have one of those, and Kyle Schwarber did it last night for the Philadelphia Phillies and the National League with that impressive home run performance in the swing-off. Schwarber is in a contract year this year, as we've known all year. Obviously still one of the best power hitters in Major League Baseball. The Phillies really need to get a deal done with him for the next few years. He's worth it. He's a guy in the lineup that other teams fear, and he helps other players in the Phillies lineup specifically get better pitches to hit, and it really just benefits everyone, not just Kyle Schwarber. He is an important piece to this team. He's a leader, and he's still very, very good at the plate. And that just showed yesterday on the big scale in front of the national audience that Kyle Schwarber has still got it. Somebody who probably still has it, but has been struggling so far. We're taking a look at the Phillies farm system here. Aiden Miller, the team's number 2 prospect. He's a shortstop. He's an infielder. Still just a very young kid. This year in 2025 is his first full season at the Double-A level with the Reading Fightin' Phils. Hasn't really been able to figure it out there at the plate, figure out the pitching, figure out the level of talent. Hasn't been able to adjust like he has prior in the lower levels to start his professional baseball career. He's batting just .234 this year in 2025. He's striking out way too much. However, he does still utilize his speed. He has 34 stolen bases to this point. His fielding is also not great. He has a .944 fielding percentage at shortstop in 2025. But as I had mentioned, he is still just a very young kid. He just turned 21 years old, I believe, last month in June. So really, really young, has a long future ahead of him, and he's got incredible skills, incredible talent for a guy in the infield. He can hit, he can run, and all that kind of stuff. He just has to be able to put it all together. He did it at the levels prior to this. As I said, his first full season in Double-A, just hasn't been able to adjust like other prospects such as Justin Crawford, the outfielder, he was able to dominate in Double-A, and now he's dominating in Triple-A as well. Aiden Miller, not really that same trajectory and success for him, but young kid, and he, as I have said multiple times now, has incredible talent, and he has the skills necessary to put it all together and kind of have that same success that Justin Crawford has had as well, the other young kid in the farm system for the Phillies. Maybe he ends up getting traded this trade deadline. The Phillies have been rumored to have those top prospects available if somebody like a high leverage closer, high leverage late inning reliever is available. They could have to use one of their top prospects like Aiden Miller. Maybe his struggles make it a little easier for the organization to part with, but still, very good player, and I have all the faith in the world. At his age, with his talent, he'll be able to turn it around and figure things out moving forward to finish off the season and into 2026. Now, speaking of finishing off the season, back to the Major League level, the Phillies are in first place in the National League East. They're one of the top teams in Major League Baseball. They have had their fair share of struggles, both offensively, defensively, obviously in the bullpen as well. One of the main guys who has to be one of the biggest contributors in the second half of the season, in these final few months before the playoffs and into the playoffs, is their superstar, is their face of the franchise, Bryce Harper. If you've been watching the Phillies all season long, Bryce Harper hasn't really had that dominance at the plate as he's had in years past as a MVP year in and year out candidate. One of the best hitters in all of Major League Baseball. He's been struggling here and there throughout the season. Hasn't been able to really stay consistent. He has missed some time when he got hit in that elbow for a week, and then he missed 22 games with that right wrist inflammation. So he's dealt with injuries. Hasn't really been able to just be healthy and get the job done at the plate as we've seen in years past. I believe Bryce Harper, it might seem silly to say this, but he is the most important player for the Phillies in the second half of the season. He is their X factor because when he's going good at the plate, he is just purely dominant. He's unstoppable. He's hitting home runs. He's hitting doubles. He's getting on base. He's making things happen on the base pass. Other teams are pitching around him, which helps him get on base, which helps the rest of the lineup have better pitches to see, better pitches to hit, and have more production there. When Bryce Harper's going well at the plate, he is one of the best, if not the best, hitters in Major League Baseball. He said it the other day when he had that 4 extra base performance against the Giants, I believe it was, when they won 13-0 in that shutout a few days ago. Hasn't really been able to string that all together this year in 2025, which is why I believe Bryce Harper is the Phillies' X factor in these final few months and into the playoffs. If he can get things going, if he can get hot at the plate, they are going to be an unstoppable team and a World Series favorite heading into the playoffs. So we'll see what happens there. Hopefully he can turn it around because I love to see Bryce Harper playing at his best. It's fun, it's exciting, it's must-see TV, and I'm sure all of you feel the same way. Now, as the AllStar break is wrapping up, and it is now July 16th today at the making of this video, we are getting very, very close to this July 31st trade deadline. I had mentioned the team has struggled throughout the season with inconsistent offense, inconsistent fielding, and obviously the bullpen woes, the bullpen struggles all season long, and that means the Phillies really need to upgrade, particularly in the bullpen, particularly late inning, high leverage situations. I've been talking about it so much, beating your ears off about it all season long, just about the Phillies struggles, about trade targets that they could help this team shore up this bullpen moving into the playoffs and all of that fun stuff. And a guy that they've been linked to, heavily rumored to, is one of the Pittsburgh Pirates' high leverage late inning relievers, David Bedner. It came out a few weeks ago that the Phillies are very interested in those two guys in the Pirates bullpen. David Bedner being one, the other one being Dennis Santana. I made a video about Dennis Santana a few weeks ago. You can go check that out on the page here at Phillies Daily if you would like. This time we are talking about David Bedner. He is a 30-year-old right-handed pitcher for the Pirates, having an incredible season in Pittsburgh for them. He has a 2.53 ERA. That would be the best in the Phillies bullpen if he was added today, just over Orion Kerkering. He has 45 strikeouts and 32 innings pitched so far in 2025. He has 3 holds, but more impressively, he is a perfect 13 for 13 in his save opportunities this year in 2025. He's been mostly used in the 9th inning, so the high leverage late inning dominant closer that the Phillies are looking for here at the deadline. And he really shouldn't be as, pricey as a guy like the Cleveland Guardians shutdown closer who's been one of the best for many years, Emmanuel Clase. Might be a little easier to get a guy like David Bedner, who's still impressive, still dominant, still a shutdown closer right now in 2025. And he hasn't allowed an earned run since May 23rd. He's allowed a run, 1 run in that span at some point, but he hasn't allowed an earned run since May 23rd. As I mentioned, it is now July 16th, so almost a full 2 months since David Bedner has allowed an earned run in the Pirates bullpen. Extremely impressive for a guy like that. He still has 1 more year of arbitration eligibility, so 1 more year of club control. It's not just a few month rental if the Phillies choose that. So he could be here for 2026 as well, and that could be very good if he has another season like this and the Phillies trade for him. There you go. You got your piece at the back end of the bullpen to help shore that spot up. He will be a free agent in 2027. And obviously, if you've been paying attention to Major League Baseball in 2025, the Pittsburgh Pirates have not been good. They've been one of the worst teams. In fact, they have the 4th worst record in Major League Baseball as we get in and out of this All-Star break. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Phillies Daily. I'm your host, Mike Kennelly. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe for more Phillies content right here on Phillies Daily. The All-Star game, or All-Star break, is wrapping up. We're going to get back into Philadelphia Phillies baseball. This exciting time of the year where teams are really, playing their best baseball to get into the playoffs, and then into the playoffs, which is just incredible. October baseball, nothing matches it. I can't wait for it. The Phillies are in a great position to be one of those top teams once again like last year. Hopefully they have better success than last year in the playoffs. Remains to be seen, but a lot of things to be looking forward to and thinking about as we get out of this All-Star break, as we get to the July 31st trade deadline, and as we get closer to the playoffs. Again, thank you guys for watching, and as always, go Phils.